Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we plunge into your sources to unearth the most potent ideas and turn them into insights you can really use. Today, we're tackling a myth that trips up, well, pretty much everyone at some point. This stubborn belief that real transformation, it demands some huge, heroic overnight leap.
Yeah, it's that whole mindset where you think, okay, got to wake up at 5 a.m. now, build 5 habits, start a business, read 10 books, get ripped all at once.
Right.
And, the intention's good, but that way of thinking, it so often just leads straight to burnout.
Yeah.
Makes real change feel completely impossible.
Totally. And it kind of convinces us that those tiny daily efforts, they're just worthless, aren't they?
Exactly. They get dismissed.
We've all been there, I think, that Monday morning feeling of, I'm going to change everything, only to crash and burn by Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
But what if the insights from your sources suggest, well, the complete opposite? What if lasting greatness isn't built on those big explosive efforts at all?
What if it's built on something much quieter?
Yeah.
Much more consistent?
Yeah.
There's this counterintuitive Japanese philosophy suggesting that if you improve by just a tiny, almost invisible amount each day, you can genuinely transform your whole life.
Okay.
That philosophy is Kaizen. It literally translates to change for better. You've got Kai for change and Zen for good.
Kaizen, change for better.
And it's really more than just a method. It feels like a quiet revolution of the mind.
A quiet revolution. I like that frame. So our mission for this deep dive then is to unpack how this quiet revolution can actually lead to real lasting change, especially in a world that's so obsessed with instant gratification, with shortcuts.
Right. It's about recognizing the incredible power of what happens when, maybe no one else is even watching.
Okay, so what's the core of it? If it's not about big...
Well, what's really foundational to Kaizen is that it doesn't rely on brute motivation or forcing things or speed.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it's built on consistency, simplicity, and actually a deep sense of awareness. It emphasizes the power of doing, say, just one push-up instead of none, or reading one page of a book, or replacing one negative thought, maybe sitting for 1 extra minute in silence, tiny things.
And it's those small, consistent acts repeated over time. They don't just add up, do they?
No, they multiply. They compound. And what's really interesting is they actually start to shape your identity over time.
How so?
It turns personal development into something more like a ritual or a rhythm, instead of this awful, burdensome sprint.
Yeah.
It just asks a very simple question. Can you improve this moment by just 1%?
Just 1%. It sounds almost deceptively simple. So where did this idea, this philosophy actually come from? It feels profound, but also understated.
Yeah, and to really get the simplicity, looking at its origins helps. Kaizen was absolutely central to Japan's incredible economic recovery after World War II.
Wow, okay.
After all that devastation, the focus was on rebuilding better, not just bigger, one step at a time. They favored consistency, small improvements over these huge, often chaotic restructurings.
That's fascinating. A whole nation rebuilding itself one tiny improvement at a time. Were there key people driving this?
Yeah, definitely. One hugely influential figure was Kaoru Ishikawa. He was a Japanese professor and engineer. And he really championed the idea that everyone in an organization, not just the manager, should be involved in improvement.
Everyone.
He even developed practical tools like the Ishikawa diagram. You might know it as the fishbone diagram.
Oh, yeah, the fishbone.
Right, to help teams systematically find the root causes of problems, not just patch symptoms.
Okay. And I know the name W. Edwards Deming often comes up here too, right? An American.
Absolutely. You can't talk about Kaizen's modern roots without Deming. He was an American statistician, and he brought concepts like the Plan-Do-Check-Act cycle, the PDCA cycle, to Japanese industry.
PDCA, Plan-Do-Check Act.
Yeah. And Deming had this famous belief, something like 94% of problems in business were due to flawed systems, not lazy people.
Wow, 94%.
Yeah. So his emphasis was strongly on fixing the system through small intentional actions.
And Toyota is always the prime example, isn't it?
Oh, completely. Toyota adopted Kaizen so deeply into its culture that apparently every employee, from the CEO to the janitor, was expected to look for ways to improve.
That's amazing. The janitor, too.
Everyone. They even empowered factory workers, this is the famous part, to actually stop the production line to fix a problem if they saw one.
Stop the whole line.
Yep, imagine that. And this constant focus on small fixes led to incredible innovations in efficiency, safety, quality. I mean, it basically made Toyota a global powerhouse. It redefined manufacturing.
It's incredible to think about a factory worker having that kind of authority. Was that immediately accepted, or was there pushback?
It was definitely radical for the time, but it seemed to align with a deeper cultural value around quality and maybe respect for every person's potential contribution.
Okay. And how did this philosophy, which sounds so rooted in factories, then leak out, as you put it, into other areas?
Yeah, leaked out is a good way to put it. The beauty of Kaizen is it's just too universally applicable to stay put. It started showing up in education, healthcare, sports, and definitely personal development.
Because
at its heart, it's a philosophy for approaching anything you care about improving. It just reminds us that every single small action really does matter.
Okay, so if we zoom out a bit, what are the core principles that really give Kaizen its power? You mentioned 3 pillars.
Yeah, 3 main ones. First is continuous improvement.
Okay.
This just means always being open to change, even tiny tweaks, seeing improvement as evolution over revolution.
Evolution over revolution.
Yeah, it's not about anxiety-driven perfectionism. It's more like a gentle, persistent nudge forward, always looking for that next small step.
That feels like a really significant shift from how many of us approach self-improvement, doesn't it? It sounds almost less stressful.
It is less stressful. It liberates you from that awful pressure of, I have to get this perfect before I even start.
Right, which stops so many people.
Exactly. You just need to get started, however small. And that actually leads right into the second principle. Everyone is responsible.
Ah, the democratic idea you mentioned?
Exactly. Improvement isn't just for the experts or the bosses or people with fancy titles.
So like your earlier example, if the cleaner can suggest a way to improve the office workflow.
Precisely. Or the receptionist finds a better way to welcome guests.
Then you certainly don't need anyone's permission to start improving your own life, your own habits, your own thinking.
You got it. You take ownership right now, today.
Okay, so continuous improvement, everyone's responsible. What's the third pillar?
And the third one, this really challenges our modern results-obsessed culture. No action is too small.
Ah, the 1% idea again.
Yes. We tend to dismiss anything that doesn't give us immediate dramatic results, right?
Totally.
But Kaizen teaches the opposite. Small steps aren't just acceptable. They're actually essential. Why? Because they're often the only kind that are truly sustainable long-term.
Sustainable, that's the key word.
It is. Yeah. So the real question Kaizen asks isn't, can you make a massive change today? It's, can you improve just a little bit every day without burning out?
And this is where that compounding magic of the 1% rule comes in. It's simple math, but it's genuinely mind-blowing when you think about it.
It really is.
Improving by just 1% every day for a year, you're not just 365% better, which is what you might intuitively think.
Nope.
You're actually 37 times better. 37. That's the almost hidden power of compound growth.
It's exponential. It's hard for our linear brains to really grasp it sometimes. The metaphor of a snowball works well, I think.
How so?
Well, it starts tiny, right? Barely noticeable.
Yeah.
But as it rolls down the hill, it picks up more snow, gets bigger and bigger.
And eventually becomes unstoppable. Yeah, I like that.
Or there's the bamboo metaphor. That one's powerful, too.
Oh, tell me about the bamboo.
Apparently, some species of bamboo spend like 4 years underground just building this massive root system. You see nothing happening above ground. Nothing.
4 years?
Yeah. And then in the 5th year, it suddenly shoots up 90 feet in 6 weeks.
Whoa.
It shows how all that invisible progress suddenly becomes very visible. The foundation was being built the whole time.
Okay, that's a great visual. Like the work you put in that doesn't seem to pay off immediately.
Exactly. Or think about domino. You know how one small domino can knock over one that's like 50% bigger?
Uh-huh.
If you line them up right, that tiny initial push on the first small one can eventually topple something absolutely massive.
So the initial effort is tiny, but the chain reaction...
immense. And you see this in real life once you start looking for it, like your sources point out. Reading just 1 page of a book every day.
Yeah.
That adds up to over 350 pages in a year. That's a decent-sized book.
Wow, okay, just 1 page.
Or walking 10 minutes a day. Seems like nothing, right?
Yeah.
But that's over 60 hours of movement in a year.
60 hours, that's significant. It's such a subtle accumulation, but yeah, undeniable when you add it up.
And when you contrast this approach with, say, the classic New Year's resolution flame out.
Oh, yeah. We all know that one.
The elegance of Kaizen becomes really clear. Those huge, unrealistic goals often lead straight to self-sabotage, guilt, burnout, and just giving up.
Because we expect instant results, and when they don't come,
we quit. Kaizen offers this gentler but way more powerful path. It lets you become someone completely different, not through one giant leap, but through hundreds of small, almost invisible steps.
It's fascinating how you mentioned Kaizen and perfectionism are almost opposites. Perfectionism freezes you, right? Traps you.
Paralyzes you. Yeah.
Whereas Kaizen liberates you by valuing progress over perfection. It actually makes room for mistakes, doesn't it?
Totally. Mistakes are just feedback in the Kaizen mindset, opportunities to adjust.
So how does that process over perfection idea really take root? How do you make that shift stick?
Well, this brings us to a really powerful concept that people like James Clear and BJ Fogg have done a great job popularizing: identity-based change.
Identity-based change. Okay, what's that?
The shift is moving away from purely outcome-focused goals. Like, instead of just saying, I want to lose 20 pounds.
Which is an outcome.
Right. You focus instead on becoming the kind of person who naturally does the things that lead to that outcome. So maybe it's, I am the kind of person who trains every day, or I am someone who eats healthy food.
So you focus on the being rather than just the having or doing.
Exactly. It makes the behavior feel more automatic, more just part of who you are. It starts as an inner transformation first.
Okay, that makes sense. And BJ Fogg's idea of start tiny seems to fit right in here. He says to start habits so small, it feels silly, like one push-up or flossing just one tooth.
Or just opening the document you need to write in.
Why does he emphasize the silly part? What's the magic in making it almost trivial?
The magic is that it lowers the barrier to entry to almost zero. The hardest part of almost anything is just starting. When the action feels silly, there's no real resistance, no big psychological hurdle. You just do it. And once you're in motion, even tiny motion, momentum starts to build. That tiny act becomes a gateway.
A gateway habit. And James Clear builds on this too, right? With his focus on systems over goals.
Yeah, he has that great line. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
Ooh, that's good. Say that again.
You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
Okay. So the systems are the key.
They are. And these systems are really just those small routines stacked and repeated over time. They don't rely on fickle things like motivation or mood. They rely on structure. That's why they last.
So how do you build those systems? Is there a simple way to think about it?
A really simple framework your sources mention is the assess, improve, repeat system.
Assess, improve, repeat.
Okay. First, you just honestly assess where you are right now. No judgment, just observation. Then you find one small thing you can improve. Just one.
One small thing.
Focus on that one thing. Do it consistently. Then, once it feels integrated, you repeat the process. Assess again. Find the next small improvement. Repeat.
That makes the whole process feel so manageable that it's almost impossible to fail, doesn't it?
Exactly. You're just gently nudging yourself forward, step by step.
So it's really clear Kaizen is way more than just like a business buzzword or a productivity hack. There feels like a deeper layer here. Your sources connect it pretty profoundly to Zen Buddhism. Can you talk about that link?
Absolutely. That connection is really important to understanding its depth. Kaizen isn't just what you do. It's a way of moving through the world. And it's deeply infused with Zen principles like presence, simplicity, humility, and total dedication to the process.
Presence. That seems key in Zen.
Hugely key. Zen teaches that real fulfillment comes from being fully present in what you're doing right now. It doesn't matter if it's, sweeping the floor, making tea, or coding software. Every action, even the mundane one, is an opportunity to enter the moment completely. The process is the reward. There's no obsession with the results down the line.
That's such a huge shift from our usual goal-obsessed thinking, isn't it? Always looking ahead.
It really is. And then there's simplicity. Not necessarily trendy minimalism, but more like clarity, discipline, stripping away the unnecessary.
Doing less, but doing it better.
Exactly. When you commit to continuous small improvements, you naturally start letting go of things that don't serve that focus, that clutter things up.
And what about repetition? In the West, we often see repetition as boring, maybe even mindless, but the sources suggest Zen views it almost sacredly.
Yeah, that's a fascinating contrast. In Zen, repetition isn't about being stuck in a rut. It's about refinement. It's how you polish something.
How so?
Think about monks sweeping the same temple paths every day or chanting the same sutra. Each repetition isn't just doing the same thing. It's an opportunity to do it with more presence, more awareness, maybe noticing something new. It reveals layers beneath the surface that you totally miss if you were constantly chasing novelty.
Layers beneath the surface.
Yeah. And Kaizen applies this to improvement. Each small, repeated action lets you refine your skill, your understanding, your focus.
And this ties into letting go of ego too, doesn't it? That feels like a big spiritual challenge for many of us.
Oh, massive. Zen basically says, you're not here to perform for some audience. You're here to practice.
Even if the growth seems invisible, even if no one else sees it.
Especially then. Kaizen really encourages working in the dark, so to speak. Not for applause or validation, but for the sake of the practice itself.
That resonates with the Japanese idea of shokunin spirit, right? Can you explain that?
Yeah, shokunin. It refers to this deep commitment of a craftsman, could be a sushi chef, a calligrapher, a sword maker, who brings soul to their work. They seek perfection not out of pride, but almost out of reverence for the craft itself.
So they don't rush, they don't cut corners.
They give their all to the process. The work itself, done with that level of dedication, is the reward.
Wow. And there's another Zen concept mentioned, ichigozame.
Ichigozame, yeah. It means something like total concentration on a single act.
Total concentration.
When your mind is fully in the act, completely absorbed, you're no longer just doing the improvement. You kind of are the improvement. You embody it.
That shifts the focus entirely, doesn't it? From what am I achieving to how am I being right now?
Exactly. It becomes about the quality of your presence, your attention, your being. It fosters this deep self-respect through the practice itself.
It really does. Okay, so let's bring this down to earth. What does all this mean for you listening right now in your actual daily life?
Well, the great thing about Kaizen is it meets you where you are. It doesn't demand you suddenly overhaul everything.
No need to quit your job or move to a monastery?
Not at all. It fits into your existing life. It just asks, okay, what's one small way you can improve today, right now?
So give us some examples, like for your mind.
Okay, for your mind, you could literally start with just 2 minutes of meditation. Just sit quietly for 2 minutes.
Okay, doable.
Or try to learn one new idea every day. Maybe read just one paragraph of an interesting article, watch a short educational video, listen to, say, 5 minutes of a deep dive like this one.
5 minutes, yeah.
Or journaling. Don't aim for pages. Just write one sentence a day. A thought, an insight, something you're grateful for. Tiny mental rep.
Okay. What about the body? People often go all or nothing with fitness.
Right. Kaizen says, forget all or nothing. Start small. Can you do 5 push-ups right now, wherever you happen to be? Or eat one better meal today. Doesn't have to be a total diet overhaul. Just replace one soda with water. Choose veggies instead of fries for one meal. Skip dessert tonight. Just one thing. Or add a 5-minute stroll after lunch. Or if you already walk for 10 minutes, maybe walk for 15. Tiny physical upgrades.
Okay. And at work, we all feel overwhelmed at work sometimes.
Yeah, so apply Kaizen there. Try to optimize one task daily. Is there a slightly faster way to handle your emails? Can you set a timer for 25 minutes of focused work on one thing?
Pomodoro technique,
Exactly. Or declutter just one part of your digital space. Close those 50 browser tabs you don't need right now. Archive 5 old emails, create one folder to organize something.
Digital Kaizen, I like it.
Or improve one system. Can you create a slightly better template for a report you write often? Learn one new keyboard shortcut that saves you time. Automate one tiny repetitive task.
Okay. And relationships. Can Kaizen apply there too?
Absolutely. Try giving one genuine compliment each day to someone. Practice apologizing faster when you mess up. Instead of letting it fester, just say, hey, I'm sorry for how I spoke earlier. I was stressed. Own it quickly.
That takes practice.
It does. Or practice asking more real questions. Go beyond how are you? Ask, how are you really feeling lately? Show genuine curiosity about someone else's inner world.
These are all small things, but you can see how they'd add up in any.
Totally. It all boils down to becoming a Kaizen thinker, and that means fundamentally changing how you see growth itself.
Letting go of that myth we started with. That change has to be fast, dramatic, impressive.
Exactly that myth. It's a huge internal shift. You start to realize that motivation. It's totally unreliable, comes and goes.
So true.
So instead of chasing mood, Kaizen teaches you to build system, structure, rhythm, routines, things you do regardless of how you feel.
So you don't ask, do I feel like meditating today?
You just do your 2 minutes because it's part of your system. It's Tuesday, you meditate for 2 minutes.
Right. And this leads back to building that new identity you talked about.
Yes. The Kaizen thinker doesn't just say, I want to be successful or I want to be healthy. They start thinking, I am the kind of person who improves every day.
And every tiny improvement
is like casting a vote for the person you want to become. Each small action reinforces that identity.
That's powerful. It also seems to require making peace with imperfection.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
You have to accept you're not here to be flawless. You're here to practice.
So it's okay to get it wrong, to stumble.
It's more than okay. It's expected. It's part of the process. What matters is that you keep showing up consistently, even if it's just by that tiny 1% margin.
So thinking about all this, Kaizen really becomes an act of self-respect, doesn't it? Rather than that harsh self-criticism or self-rejection we often fall.
Beautifully put, yes. Yeah. It frees you from the guilt, the pressure, the unrealistic expectations. It makes you feel more grounded, I think, more focused.
Yeah.
And definitely more resilient, because a small setback doesn't derail everything.
You just make the next small improvement.
Exactly. You stop trying to constantly fix yourself and you just start honoring your own capacity for gentle, steady growth.
Okay, so we're nearing the end of this deep dive. If there's one core message, one central truth for you to take away from all this, it really seems to be small steps create big change.
That's the heart of it.
In a world that's always yelling at us to be faster, louder, more impressive, Kaizen offers this quiet whisper, doesn't it? That slow is powerful.
That daily, almost invisible effort is actually what leads to the most profound, lasting transformations.
It's really not about those big, dramatic moments we see celebrated all the time.
No, it's about the consistent, quiet choices you make every single day. Kaizen is a mindset, really, that can reshape everything. Habits, work, health, relationships, even how you think.
And the message seems to be, you don't need to rush. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't even need to feel ready.
You just need to begin, however small.
So the final challenge for you, listening right now, what's your next small step? What is one area of your life, just one single area, where you can make a tiny 1% improvement?
And maybe think about doing it not to impress anyone, not even necessarily to fix yourself, but maybe just to take care of yourself.
But to take
ownership, to begin moving gently, consistent in the direction of your own value.
Start small, stay consistent, trust the process.
That's the Kaizen way.